Most of the violence in New Orleans is sparked by brothers trying to prove whose hood is the hardest. So this next poem is my vision about two boys having a conversation about just that, whose hood is the hardest. The black struggle is not over, so to me it's still crunch time. Was a thought that ran through my mind as I passed the school during lunchtime. And it was ghetto fab, y'all, because instead of jumping rope, the little girls was backing it up. And instead of playing ball, the little boys was on the hood of the car because the truancy was hacking them up. You'd have thought they was grown if you'd have heard these little children conversing. You'd have really thought they was grown if you'd have heard how these kids was cursing. Of this particular day in my life, I really must make mention, because it was a conversation between two boys that really caught my attention. I know I shouldn't be nosy, or maybe I should, cause the topic of the conversation was how hard each other's hood was. The first one had to be from the project, or at least that's what I assumed, cause he said to live in my court, you gotta either pick out a gat or pick out a tune. Then he talked about how he hit the block and helped his uncle sell rocks, and how they beat up people who wear G-Nikes, cause him and his clique only wear Reeboks. Then he talked about how he be hitting hustles and pulling capers. He said, man, my hood's so notorious, they don't even deliver the morning papers. Say it's rough like that and you living in the jacks. And the only reason the mailman come through, cause he gotta deliver them checks. He say them weak ones, we punk them cowards, we scam. They be so petrified that they buy brand new Jordans that don't even wear 'em. He said I was 13 years old when I drunk my first 40, and 14 years old when I stayed all night at my first party, and 15 years old when I sold my first dime, and 16 years old when I snorted my first line. We bout it like that in my hood, and we ain't gonna never stop that. I know my hood the hardest, so let me see you try and top that. And the second bar replied by saying, when I said my hood was hard, I wasn't talking about thugging. I was talking about hard from hard times that come from hardcore struggling. See, it's hard for us to eat at Houston's and Copeland's, cause all we can afford is churches. And it's hard for us to get a Visa or MasterCard, cause all we have is a Louisiana Purchase. Hard is how my daddy worked, but he ain't make much cash. And the closest he came to putting out a credit card is when he pulled out his bus pass. And it's hard for us to live at peace because people gossip and keep mess. And it's hard to go to the next grade because they done made it hard to pass a LEAP test. There go the bell ringing. So bro, I gotta go. But we could talk after school if you want to discuss this some more. But I'm gonna leave you with this because I don't think I said enough. See, I'm talking about life being hard while you talking about a hood being rough. After talking with my pops, I know this for a fact. We wouldn't be talking about whose hood is the hardest if we both wasn't black. And once we realize this, we should study to be the smartest. Because life for black people in any ghetto is gonna always be the hardest. And that's who hood and life the hardest. Black people. Peace.